Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A real pleasure to have you here with us in amazing Berlin for the film festival. Maybe you could just begin with a brief introduction to your film. Well, your two films. What can people expect when they watch them?
What people can expect when they watch my two films, it's seeing in one what they don't see in the to see in one what they didn't have seen in the other and just imagined, and that was the idea. That it's a kind of reflex, it's a kind of mirror films, and in one you imagine you see a lot of characters passing by and standing there that you really don't know what they are doing there, but you become curious about that, and you can uh, you have glimpses, and in the other film you can see exactly what was those characters about.
And where did the kind of spark of the idea, I guess, come for the original concept? Did you, right from the beginning, have the double film structure in mind, or did you start with one and kind of it then evolved into the second?
It's an evolving thing. It's in how have you said evolve is evolve
Uh, yeah, it evolved. Yeah.
evolve thing. uh, it started with the first film Malviver, and in a given moment we thought maybe it's good that the hotel is not empty. The hotel is not empty, and that the hotel has some clients. And I thought having clients with who would add to the density of the film, because those fant- ghostly characters that pass by and have stories of their own and disturb the main plot. And so, from the moment on that I thought that Othello could have clients, there was two films.
And I liked the idea when I was reading about it that, you know, you start perhaps with a loose structure, but it's very much a collaboration with your actors.
Yes,
And it's something, you know, you kind of a process of osmosis, if you like, between you and them. So tell us about your approach in that way, and why you approach your work in that way.
I don't write alone. I write with them. But it's completely different Malviver from Viver Mal. Malviver, it was from the scratch, worked with the actresses, discussing the plot, discussing the theme, discussing the characters, discussing the relationship between characters, the background, very important, and from then discussing the scenes, and from then improvising the final script written with dialogues, and from that improvisation came out the final version. Viver Mal, it's completely different because it starts from three plays of Strindberg, from three Strindberg plays. So it was a kind of discussion, the kind of adaptation and version. So it's different. But we are talking about months of work before the shooting.
And in terms of the themes that you wanted to explore, you think that come out, you know, at its heart, this idea of anxiety and how anxiety can get in the way of kind of loving without condition, and how
And
different
even living.
and living, and you know, particularly with the women and different generations, and how that sort of gets passed on from one to the other. So, what was that idea that you wanted to explore,
The
and what do you want to
idea
say about
comes
that?
from reviewing Autumn Sonata and trying to find out why it's a film that's so dear to me. And I found out, and I wanted to say something about that I had to say. Not that I would like to say, that I needed to say. And that's the anxiety of mothers that will turn daughter's life very, very difficult. And in their turn, they will turn the granddaughter's life very, very difficult. and it's a never-ending story, and it happens in almost all families. That's my opinion. I don't think there are functional families. There are all dysfunctional families.
And can you tell us a little bit about what your casting process is and your casting process? And
Oh, the casting process. There's no casting process. They're all they are all the same. From the older one is I work with her since 40 years, and the others 20 something. They're always the same, except the young girl, of course. The young girls, I couldn't know them, so I did casting, yes. But the castings are done by, I write a scene taken from the film, but they don't act the scene. They improvise the scene with the actors that are the actresses that are already there. It's a different kind of casting.
And of course, this must have been a mammoth project. I mean, doing sort of two films. What was the whole length of that journey? And along the way, were there moments that really were very challenging? And on the flip side, a real highlight for you?
I didn't got the question. Sorry.
First of all, how long was the whole
Oh,
process?
the whole process, 3 years. 3 years. The shooting, 12 shooting, not so long, 12 weeks. And the second part?
And, was there a moment that was particularly challenging? And on the flip side, a real highlight for you?
No, no. We were very lucky because we shoot it during the confinement. But because we were already confined in a hotel, didn't affect us at all, just added to the concentration. We had nothing else to do. We couldn't do anything else. We were just there. So it was, no, there was no problems. It was a quite smooth shooting.
And so, in that sense, I mean, I guess, was it in some ways incidental, the location, or was that really key to your story? That feeling perhaps of claustrophobia, of being in that hotel
It
altogether?
was key. It was key because I was looking for a place where the family had to be stuck and imprisoned, a place where they couldn't leave, from where they couldn't leave. And if they had to manage an hotel, they couldn't leave because they live on the hotel, so they couldn't leave. And the hotel it's an hotel from my childhood, really. So I left it to the end. We looked for a lot of hotels. I was afraid the hotel wasn't no more, but we leave it for the last, really for the last one. And when we get there, the hotel it was exactly as I remembered it 50 years ago.
And in terms of what people can take away from watching the films, what do you think? What do you hope they will take from it? And what is the effect of kind of seeing things from two completely different perspectives? What does that tell us about how much our gaze or the lens that we look at things can determine how we see it? And we should always think about that mirror image or that other perspective.
I think I don't want they see the film in any way. I want them to see the film the way they experience it, the way they feel it by themselves, the way they imagine the relationship between those characters by themselves. I don't want to illustrate anything. And having two, it's just doubling that intention. Give the viewer the maximum freedom so they can imagine things and experience things.
And what does it mean to you to have your films here at the Berlin Film Festival
What
like
do you
that?
think is overwhelming?
I mean, what is it about this festival in particular that you think is so special? It feels like it attracts, both such a diversity of filmmakers, but the people that come and watch the films as well, very discerning, but very open-minded, let's say. So it feels like it stands out in that film festival calendar.
I think it's one of the most interesting festivals in the world, as you know. So, and one of the most important. And people come. and see the films, yes, for the films, and it's just amazing.
And in terms of cinema in your country, how do you see that it's evolved or where it is right now in the broader cinema landscape? Do you feel like there is still progress to be made, taboos to be broken, or do you think that there's something, special happening
I
there?
think the younger people evolved a lot, and they are much better than old people. And it's a film production with little money, but it's not total poverty. We can manage to do the films with the money we have, and I think until now it's evolving positively year by year and generation from generation.
And in terms of your own career, obviously you've done over 9 films
I
before
think
this?
10.
10?
I don't know if 10 or 11, something like that.
How do you think your own filmmaking has evolved over that
I
time?
hope
And
so. I think this Malviver is my best film ever. So,
in terms of where you've
and
gone,
as long as I think the last one is the best ever, I'm okay.
in terms of looking ahead, are there any stories or genres you'd like to try or something very different, people you'd like to work with which you haven't done yet?
People who I would like to work there will be the same. The thing will be completely different. It will be about the staging of a theater play,
Amazing.
the rehearsals.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all that with me and really enjoying presenting your films here in Berlin.
Thank you. It was
Thank
very nice to meet you.
you.